I'm ready! go. We're back in live once again with more of Rifts Survivors Dawn. So looking forward to tonight's game, seeing how that's going to play out. Apologize if we start off a little bit later than usual. Little tweaks to the schedule, obviously. Had to wait for everybody to get in. And then, obviously, I had a brief delay while I was letting the music play. So ran over to about 13 minutes. Not a big deal. So who took notes last time, and who do we have that's going to be doing our recap?
I took notes last time, but I don't think I'm going to be able to do recap very well.
What?
I took notes last time, but I don't think I'm going to recap very well. I'm waiting for pain meds to kick in. Right
Gotcha. Okay.
Let me see if I can burn through it.
Can somebody recap for Callie? Pretty please.
So I took half the notes. So
there you go. Tag team.
Oh, because they came through in Google format. Okay. Okay. So last game was after our 6 months of break and training and turning into new types of creatures and stuff. We got our mission, which was to there's a lot of information we got from command about possible groups out there, which I'm not going to recap all the way through. So we had a mission to go to a library branch, which we did. I don't see the name of it, but it's in here somewhere. We went to a library.
It's the Choya branch of the Phoenix Library. Yeah.
There's a problem with not being familiar with the city, so
no worries.
So we went to the library, and when we got there, we found that people had used it as a shelter, but they were not there anymore. We looted it for various things, helpful books. We got a library server. The mission was to just get as many helpful skill books as we could to help rebuild. So we did that pretty much without any problems. Then the second part of our mission was to go to the location of the Irish Cultural Center. And before we went to the library, we had met, I want to say Captain Rex. We had met another crew who had a very beastly vehicle called the Hollow Point Hotel, who had so they were driving us across the city. They have two robots as part of their crew, one of which claimed he had a soul. And he also said that, I believe it was Abby's, or not Abby, Alex. Was it Alex's house? Yeah. A names. He also said he had been talking to Alex's house and that it also had a soul. So we went and retrieved Alex's AI. So that's also in the truck with us. Then we get to the library, looted it. Then we go to the Irish Cultural Center, and we drove through a bad part of town with buildings. There was a blockade that I believe we blew apart. And we, skulls with fangs were marking the buildings around that area. We got through it without any problems, and made contact with the Cultural Center, who refer to themselves as the Tranquil Zone. We agreed to meet. They said they didn't want our beast of a vehicle right up on their property, so we agreed to meet on a side street. And that is where we left off.
Sure is.
Also, there was a dragon.
Oh, and there was a dragon, but we didn't fight it. But we saw it. And we said, should we fight it? And we said, maybe not.
Somebody in the group has probably seen Rain of Fire. And they recall what happened when an armored column decided to drive into town and got caught up by a dragon.
See, I'm caught between that and like Dragonheart, where it was Sean Connery. So
Yeah, we don't know which.
We don't know which we're getting.
Right. Which is fair. They are still technically a new phenomena in this particular world. All right. So,
Willetta Street. That's where we're headed.
the Hollow Point Hotel, given the fact that you guys have spotted that... whoa. Before I continue. Abby and Callie,
Oh, yeah.
you have some very thirsty players ready for some additional XP. So if you would like to roll 1d6 plus 1.
Oh.
Both of us? Okay.
I wasn't joking about that. I was serious. So
Hey, have a baby. You deserve XP.
Just two for me.
so 2 total, and then what'd you get, Abby?
No.
I'm rolling.
Oh, 3, I guess. Yeah.
I'm doing it left-handed, so it's a little weird. Hold on.
Fine.
I have to use my right hand, to keep the baby off the keyboard.
The sinister side. Oh, wow.
I got 2.
5 total.
Okay, so everybody gets an additional 5 total XP for bringing life into this world.
Yay.
I know you want me to be done. Do you want to watch a show? Hmm?
Okay, so got the map all pulled up. I believe they told you to meet at Willetta Street.
Yep.
Yeah.
The Lettuce Street?
Yes, that's exactly what it is. The Lettuce
That's what I thought.
Street. Right
Do they
next
have
to
lettuce?
Potate Avenue.
Nice.
So, back in game. And if somebody on their notes, make sure to mark down the birthing XP.
Well, that's Abby tonight, and she just disappeared. Toby powered down my computer.
Okay,
Oh,
well,
God.
Toby really wants to watch that movie, so we will get her caught up in a few. I remove that. There we go. Okay, so you guys end up cutting through the remains of a parking lot. This particular section of town buckled a bit with the earthquakes that ended up hitting back when the cataclysm first took. So many of the homes in this area probably were more upscale, akin to where Marcus and Alex lived. Older single-family homes that were probably, worth quite a bit. It's pretty wrecked around here. And then there's the remains of what looks to be an old spaghetti factory. So you cut through that parking lot. It is kind of broken up. The Hollow Point Hotel is actually going to pull. There's a vacant lot in between. It's a little rocky, but it's no problem for this particular APC. And there is a fallen tree line that will help mask their position a little bit. Their concern, obviously, is that dragon circles around and decides, this, because they don't know anything about dragons, really, that this big thing is either a toy or something to eat. So they're doing that to kind of hunker down. You guys are taking what are effectively like part of an alley and then to the Willetta Street. And you end up seeing a crew of people there, 5 in total. One of which is, or actually not one, two of them are large reptilian-looking guys. They have armor on, but it's like over casual clothing. And to emphasize, do you guys know what a 50 cal is? 50 caliber machine gun?
Yeah.
You usually spot them on, I know Brittany is not up on military stuff. The type of big machine gun you'd find on top of a tank. Okay. One of the reptilian looking guys can palm that.
Dang.
He can use it in one hand. So he's beefy. They're beefy. Yep. The other three, of the five, two of them are those reptilian-looking guys. One of which looks like a humanoid cactus, and he happens to have like a corn pipe coming out of his mouth. He's got a holster with a leather holster, wrapped around his hip and attached to his leg. He's got his hand on the gun, but he hasn't pulled it. Looks pretty calm for a humanoid cactus. And then the other two are humans.
I'm picturing a Cenobite.
No.
Human cactus. No, okay.
That's in the same vein, as in, yes, they do look prickly, but they look far more cactus than they do human.
So like the cactus from Final Fantasy?
Oh God, Cactuar, we're dead.
I've never played it, so I don't know.
Oh.
They're these annoying little creatures you can't hurt, but then when they hurt you, they do like 9999 damage.
Oh wow.
Dang.
They're not super humanoid.
For some of the visuals, you can. I actually posted them up after last game on 6/11. So there's 4 pictures there. The first 2 are visuals of the alien types.
Yeah, that guy's gonna eat me. Do they actually have the 50 cals?
One of them does, yeah.
Okay.
But obviously these guys, because they're coming out to meet somebody, they're armored. They've got some weapons. They look like they're ready to rock. One of the guys ends up walking up. One of the humans, and he says, looks around to what you guys are wearing. He says, "So you're the Nema guys, right?"
Yeah, that's us. Welcome to Earth.
Well, one of the humans was talking to you. And he says, "Yeah, I was born here, man."
Okay.
Okay. Anyways, you're gonna have to turn over your weapons before we're gonna let you in. Don't worry, you'll get them back so long as you behave.
Okay.
I'm fine with that, but
Okay.
Okay, so
I'm just gonna leave them on the hotel.
Oh no, the Hollow Point Hotel is away from here. You're nowhere near it right now.
Oh, we're down the street. Okay.
Yeah. You're already down the street at this point. So at that point, one of the other big reptilian-looking guys pulls out a duffel bag, and just opens it up and lets you guys drop it in.
All right. Well, I will.
Dump in my weapons.
Okay.
I'm not gonna dump, but I'll place them.
Oh, she's going to be dainty with her weapons.
Yep.
Fine.
This coming from the woman who can hide everything in a cardigan. So I mean,
Different character.
I know.
Different character.
So you follow them back as you walk down. At this point, even though they're really close to their home base, it looks like they are cognizant of the potential dangers that could be around. So they don't take you down the streets per se. They actually take you in between houses. So there's cover. Even though many of these houses around here are wrecked and damaged in some form or fashion, dead trees, partially dead trees kind of overhanging occasionally. It provides good cover from above.
I had a question. We had set up like a shape for the blue zone on our map. Is it that defined? Or is it like
that's your best guess right now. I will let you know when you get a better chance to take a look at it.
Okay.
Yeah, as of right now, that is what Intel basically NEMA has from as close as they've been able to get to it, which it hasn't been very good.
Been about that far, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I'll introduce myself. My name's Warrant Officer Marcus Seville of NEMA Echo 9 team. This is the Echo 9 team.
Okay, the guy's like, all right. Well, we've got our counselors that are our council members are going to want to talk to you. So save your introductions to them. And then they end up taking you through. They take you past Culver Street, and there's the remains of a parking lot to a park that was there. Now the park is still pretty well kept. So it has a trail that kind of circles around. It's not super big. It's actually still pretty green comparatively. The trees around here look like they're still fairly well kept, despite the ash and whatnot that may have fallen. It looks like there are a couple bike paths that went around. There's the remains of, which most of it is still there, but some of it got kind of knocked over, of playground equipment. There is a memorial not too far away, and it looks like because there's a good bit of blue glow around here, most of it originating past this tree line that's a little bit further south from where you're at, but not terribly. So basically, if you're looking at the map itself, you're at Margaret T. Hance Park. That's where you're cutting through, and then you're hanging a right, to go south over towards the Irish Cultural Center, which it looks like all around this area, as well as around what has been tagged as the Japanese Friendship Garden. There was originally a gate, and those have all been fortified now at this point. So they are not just your typical civilian gate. They have been bolstered by additional materials and made more solid with especially around where you're coming up to the Irish Cultural Center, that's made obviously of stronger brick and stone. It's been made far more defendable. And they have a small little tower that kind of peeks up so they can see off in the distance to get a look or get their eyes about the region. And of course, a security gate that you'll need to go through, which, since you're with the group that are bringing you in. Oops. Let me get you a visual here. Cultural Center. Yeah, here we go. That'll work. I'll give you a couple images here. I'm going to post these in the Facebook chat, so you have a few things to look at here. Some of which is obviously during like a party and whatnot, but you'll get a good idea of what the courtyard and everything looks like, and the main building here. But yeah, it's done up very old worldish like, with a lot of repurposed rock and brick, making it look more almost 18th century in a way. But obviously they have like an antenna coming off the top of the building. They've got some noticeable communication upgrades in the area. They've got a couple tents like in the courtyard itself. for what you're not too certain just yet. Oh, that'll be a good shot. Let's get this here. This is around the opposite side of the building. So here we go. Boom. I'm gonna give you some, if you haven't already been there, obviously. I'll give you some good visuals of what it looks like. So it's cozy. It's actually pretty darn ideal for a medium-sized survival group. It has high points, obviously, with the tower that they've constructed that sits right near the gates. But they have a tower already pre-made in the sort of castle-like building that they've got there. So they've got some vantage points that they can look down and defend themselves with. It's already got gates, as I indicated. Around it's fairly well fortified. Obviously, there is a good deal more of wear and tear on the inside because it wasn't really originally designed to be lived in. However, one of the buildings that is in there, which if you take a look at... Okay. Let me go back to the... Yeah. Okay. So if you're looking at the picture that I posted in there that has the green tables and the lights kind of hanging over in that courtyard and whatnot, you're going to see a building off to the left. Kind of a long, kind of squat looking building. That is their, in real life, that's their gift shop and basically a facsimile of what an Irish home looked like in the period. So it actually does have some living space in it, oddly enough, already prefabricated. Obviously, there's a bunch of people around here, and if you take a look at the pictures that I posted in the chat previously, where you saw the other two, you see some of these other type of aliens intermixed with the humans. Like everybody here is, for the most part, copacetic and getting along, and they've kind of got their thing going on right now. The hawk-like, you actually see two hawk-like individuals almost perched up on top of the main tower of the castle-like building here. And so across from, I didn't get a picture of that, did I? Shoot. Okay. Let me grab. Oh, here we go. Perfect. This is even better. It's kind of small, but it gives you the complete shot of the courtyard that you didn't see before. There's a building on the right. That's a hall. So they use that for events, music, so on and so forth. And here, it's actually being used to house additional, because it has a makeshift kitchen in the back in real life. They are using it to actually house additional people, additional survivors. So as you are brought forward, and the rest of the guards, or the greeting party, I should say, tell you to wait by the stone artwork that's right up front. Which, if you look at one of the pictures, you'll see it has it's kind of like an archway with an uneven rock slanted down and a pillar, and then bricked stone on the other side. So they have you wait beside that. And that's just a tribute to the Irish who died during the potato famine. So eventually some people come walking forward after one of them goes to go get them. And I just posted their pictures in the Discord chat, so you guys would have that on hand. I preloaded that, which is why I didn't do other pictures in the Facebook chat. So obviously, one woman is stepping out in front. She is a bit of a redhead, kind of got a worn yellow blouse on, black rimmed glasses, with a nice little charm and necklace. You see another one of those reptilian guys dressed like he's got his country on. Which, now that you've seen him, you've actually see others. You see more of his kind here. And they all tend to dress similarly. Oddly enough, maybe they found an outlet someplace and that's the clothing that they chose, or maybe they came across with that or something, but they look like they're effectively good old boys, but they're aliens of some kind. So he's got like his blue denim button-up shirt with darker blue denim jeans, cowboy boots, and a cowboy hat on, a big Herkin pistol at his side, which is not drawn. And then the last individual is got kind of like a brown military coat on, has a tactical belt with some pouches and gear on it. It does noticeably say Nima on the side. And he's got the black facial hair and short black hair. The woman approaches and she says, I hope we haven't disturbed you or offended you. You have to understand we take security here at a premium given everything that's happened. She says, but I am Eileen O'Rourke. I kind of lead this motley crew. She said, and she motions to the reptilian individual. She says, this is Torek Stone Climber. And then she says, and then beside him, this is Miguel Vasquez. And we are three of the council members here that lead this particular survivors group.
My name's Marcus Seville. I'm a warrant officer with NEMA. Everybody want to introduce yourselves?
I am Staff Sergeant Carter. I was part of the group that kind of we gathered survivors. We just made some good relations with the groups that are still around and surviving.
Specialist Chip Stone, Echo 9, Recon and Logistics. Pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Corporal Alex Palmer. I do tech and comms. It's nice to meet you. Hi.
Likewise.
Specialist Naomi Angelis. I think it was magic specialist.
You are. Actually, it doesn't say.
Yeah, I didn't have that
specialist
for you.
Leyline specialist.
That'll work. Which, speaking of which, you can now see from where you guys are sitting, there is what appears to be a rift, not a huge one, but a rift just on the other side of this complex, somewhere in the Japanese Friendship Garden. And there's two small ley lines that jot out to either side from it, one going sort of north, the other one going sort of south.
So those are visible even to people who are not
Yes, they are.
magic users? Okay.
Mm-hmm. And she shook everybody's hand, as you guys were introducing yourselves. She says, so, welcome to the Tranquil Zone. I'm sure we all have questions for one another. Sorry, I was just dealing with something else here recently. Why don't all of you come in? We have a table and some chairs we can sit at, and I think we have something roasting on the fire right now. So you're welcome to some food and drink while you're here.
Thank you for the hospitality. You've done a very good job fortifying this place.
She says it's not without a gigantic dose of luck. And Torek chuckles, at that and just nods. He doesn't say anything, but he readily accepts that as well. So he motions everybody to go through, and he of course these guys, every member of this race, they are big. They are remember the mutant alien things that you guys recently spotted?
Right.
They're on that side, like that kind of big.
7-8 feet tall.
Yeah. These guys would look them almost dead in the eye and be like, okay, let's go, sort of thing. Like they wouldn't back down from that, which at first glance is probably a good reason why this group has held out as well as they did. They've got some guys who can clearly handle themselves.
Are these reptilians the same race as our Dr. Grant Argo?
No, great question though. He looks completely different, which if you've seen the picture, you would know.
I've seen the pictures, but it's worth an ask.
No,
So.
that's fine. Yeah, completely different. These guys look more crocodile like. Even though the rendered picture that I put in there, if you look at the canon picture, they've got a little bit longer of a head and a mouth and whatnot. So
I'm still getting over Cassian Andor being the third guy, but
yeah.
It's gonna
I was like, well, I had the name, and I was trying to think of somebody, and I was like, okay, so give me somebody who looks, and that's just how I put it, kind of like Diego Luna.
you got it.
And I didn't get kinda. And in fact, I didn't even use an actual image to make him off of. I just said kind of like and it's just like, oh, you said Diego Luna, which I probably should have been a little bit more specific, because sometimes what happens is, like, when I try to ask it to render an image now, it will render a character sheet for me, and I literally have to stop and go, that is not what I asked for. It's like completely off from what I asked. And it's like, I need, somebody who looks kind of like this, and here's some of their traits, and then it takes the character sheet like we use for this game, and it's all vampire 20th edition. It's like, and it's giving me all these stat blocks, and it's like Wilm power, and I'm like, oh god, it doesn't even get that right. Yeah. So anyway, sorry. So they start walking forward and leading you guys into the hall. The hall doors are open, and people are kind of coming back and forth. Looks like they may be doing. They may have something going on in in what was kind of the. It's not really a museum, but the replica Irish home / gift shop that was right there. They have set up right outside of it a spit where they can cook meat outdoors, and they have a primitive but clearly working system of filtering water as well, right near that section, which of course is super important. But they lead you on the inside of the hall itself. Right now, because it's still kind of chilly out, they have the fireplace going. So if this wasn't like refugee central sort of thing, it would actually look pretty homey and quaint. Like, you would almost expect mead to be passed around, and a party with like lights hanging and song and whatnot. But for the most part, people that are here, despite the fact that everybody's a survivor, you don't get the survivor vibe. Like, nobody here is super happy because it's ashing outside, but you don't get that sense of doom and gloom either. Like, everybody feels fairly confident that they're making it, like it's working for them, in this new world. And there's this big thick wooden table that they've got here, and they've got several repurposed chairs, many of which look like they've probably the chairs themselves were probably purchased well before the cataclysm, and you could tell that there was a hotel nearby, so they may have raided that for additional seating and bedding and whatever have you, and that probably came from that. But they're comfy enough looking. They look like the type of chairs that would be like in the front waiting room somewhere. So Miguel goes off to go get everybody something to drink, and a special chair slash kind of stool that the people like Torek might sit in. He pulls one of those over and sits in it kind of backwards, and slings his arms over the back and looking at everybody. And he says, "So y'all Nema, huh?"
Yeah, we're Nema.
So I've talked to Miguel on occasion, but y'all are some sort of human military force.
That's right.
Whereabouts are y'all located? Because we haven't seen hide nor hair of any of you, except for when obviously communications went up.
Well, it's taken a little while since the that night for us to get our feet under us and get organized, but we are now, and we're coming out here to reach out to groups that we can find out, who needs help, who needs trade, looking for friends, finding problems.
Well, we could always use some trade, but I'll have to direct you to okay, get my NPCs pulled up. I'll have to direct you to Davin for something like that. He's our trader, and he handles most of those deals because he's particularly good at it. But if you're here for some trading, we're definitely interested. I can say that much.
We do want to establish communication information lines as well with the various survivor groups because we have encountered not so friendly groups in the area. We're a bit of a scout recon team that we've started moving across this area trying to locate rifts and threats that may be not that great for us. It's really good to see that you guys are working together and this community is thriving. Up the road a bit, there is a fire cult that seems very dangerous. So, we're hoping to also trade that kind of information about as a cautionary map of, where you should and probably should not be.
Okay, I mean, she at that point, Eileen nods and she says, "That's perfect. We're happy to exchange whatever information that we have. We didn't know anything about this fire cult, so any information that you might have would be greatly appreciated."
Hey, do you folks venture out of your compound very much?
Yeah, Torque at that point, chimes in. And he says, "We tend to, yeah, we have to for
Resources.
scavenging, and occasionally somebody gets stuck nearby."
Oh, that's very kind of you.
We don't call it the Tranquil Zone for no reason.
Is that I was actually wondering about that, is if it was a nice name or if there's some sort of effect going on here that.
So like at that point, Torek looks to Eileen and she says, "Well, I think it's a little bit of both." She says, "Near as I can surmise, the Japanese peace gardens were a center of tranquility. Specifically, it was a tourist attraction before the cataclysm, and after the cataclysm, a rift opened up in there. But unlike the chaos that we have been hearing elsewhere, the magic energies around here, I guess, seem to be in tune with the Peace Garden. So we haven't really, there's nothing hostile has come through the rift." And she says, as a matter of fact, she says that's how we met Torek and many other individuals you've seen around our encampment. They came through. I guess you could say it was a potential culture clash, but everything just really kind of worked out. I and a few survivors managed to hunker down here, and when that rift opened, we ended up encountering Torek and his group at an absolutely ideal time.
I have a world question.
Mhm.
Are rifts two-way portals?
Essentially, yes.
Okay. So, I mean, I'll ask, is that so you guys have passage back to your home world?
Yeah, Torque chuckles at that. He says, no.
No?
They ain't exactly an exact science.
Okay.
He says it would be ideal if that was the case, but no.
If I mean, if you feel okay with it, before we leave, I would love to get a closer look at the rift.
Yes, please.
Yeah, it could be really interesting.
They, at that point, Eileen's like, so long as, of course, we still hold on to your weapons. I don't foresee that being an issue. We can have somebody go.
No hostile intent, but I mean, you have to understand that in our travels around the city, most of the rifts that we've even been close to have been home to some hostile people. So
Right, which we've encountered some of that as well. And yeah, Torque at that point chuckles. He says, "Oh, right, yeah. So our neighbor's a broadkill. Yeah."
yeah.
Yeah, if you have a map, I can mark some of those things that we found already down for you, plus another survivor encampment that's somewhat nearby. I don't know how far out you guys travel, but
She says, "That would be absolutely ideal." She looks at that point. She says, "Torque, could you bring out one of the maps from from the library so we can kind of swap back and forth?" And he just tips his hat at that point. He says, "Not a worry, little lady. Be right back."
and I look at the other three of the ley line. They just like, if you guys want to go check that out, Chip and I can try to get this all down to you because you know the city better than I do. We'll make sure these are accurate for them because those guys are not nice.
And at that point, a mostly human alien comes walking up. They're listed as number 3 on that particular palette of images that I posted up in the Discord chat as a quick flex. They look mostly human. They just lack certain human features like a nose and whatnot. But otherwise, I mean, at a glance, they probably could pass for human. Despite the fact being a little thinner as well. One of them, and they're dressed, this one's dressed casually and is bringing drinks for everybody that's here right now. And at that point, Eileen says, "I wasn't sure what you wanted, but we have a reserve of Coca-Cola, so I figured soda was a good start."
No, it's perfect. Thank you.
We
That
have
would be amazing.
We haven't had soda in so long.
She
This is
says,
a real treat.
I kind of figured. She says, again, we were fortunate when we first met up with Torque and his clan, essentially. That really changed everything. And we were able to hit, a couple small grocery stores not far away and bring in certain creature comforts like soda.
Surprised there were any left.
Yeah, and at that point she kind of shrugs and she says, "Well, I mean, we knew what to look for, and some places didn't have them in the 2 liters or the cans. They had them in the syrup and the
Oh,
the carbonation.
Right.
nice.
So we had enough smart cookies on hand that we were able to bring some of that over."
I have a question about your human survivors. Just, I'm looking for a woman named Miranda, and her son is named Jaden. Have you seen anybody in your group fits that description?
You give them obviously. Well, actually, you still have your phone. I'm assuming it's charged. Even
Yeah,
though,
if she needs images, I'll
Yeah.
pull up images.
Yeah, she looks and she says, "No, but if it's important to you, I mean, we can. If you can get us copies of those images, we can spread the word."
I can do that. All right. Well, shall we go check out the rift and the three of us, and let Chip and Sergeant Carter handle the logistics?
Sure.
Okay. So at that point, Davin comes walking up. Davin is one of those cactus people. We're getting feedback from somebody. Okay, it's gone now. I couldn't tell. I didn't get the thing pulled up in time to see who it was. Anywho, Davin is, of course, one of those cactus people. He actually has a black ball cap on. He has a Washington Sentinels football jersey on, with emblazoned with the number 16. On the back it says Falco. And he's in just denim pants, and he's got he has what appears to be some really nice Nikes. And he approaches. He is for Chip and Jackie as Eileen takes the others over to the rift. So I'll go to the people who are at the rift at this point. So basically, you walk through what was part of the Irish Cultural Center's parking lot, which they've obviously fortified off for the additional space to keep people readily coming in and out. But they have another gate that's big enough that they can let trucks and vehicles come through. And you walk across. The gate here has been modified. It looks like this, at one point in time, this was the back side of the garden that didn't directly connect to the Irish Cultural Center. And then as you open it up, like everything here looks pristine. Like it had like nothing of the outside world. Like there was no damage caused to it. Nothing. Like there's bamboo plants here. There's there's a nice pond and garden. And if you look on the map, Phoenix map, you'll get at least an overview of what the place looks like. I don't know. I know I personally took a bunch of pictures. I don't have them on hand. Japanese Friendship Garden. Maybe somebody. Oh, here we go. Perfect. Phoenix. Easy. Oops. There we go. Okay, so here, let me give you guys some pictures. I'm going to post this in Discord. But basically, when I went there, it was at night. They were doing like Christmas lights, and I love lights in general, but that was just absolutely gorgeous. Most of the property are these gardens, and it's when you get up towards the front, which is to the far west of the grounds, that's where you see like a little gift shop. There is an example, like two buildings to illustrate an example of what a Japanese village back in the day would have looked like. As well as a nice little walkway that has like their gift shop, and it has like the ticket booth and whatnot where you pay to get in and whatnot. So I don't know if I'll be able to get pictures of those. But let's see. Hopefully this one will come out too. So basically, this is what the place looks like. And then almost smack dab in the middle of the small pool body of water that's there, you can see that there's this shimmering blue light that's about 15 feet or so spherical around. And occasionally there's flickers, almost like it's a television that occasionally fuzzes out and shows something else. And it's connecting. It's occasionally connecting to what appears to be other planes of existence. And then there's these blue walls that are about 10 feet in height that kind of intersect with it and go off in either direction. And while it interacts with the environment here, it doesn't damage it in any way, which you guys would know is uncommon, because magic is still a physical energy, even though, again, you guys, the tech heads back home, don't know everything there is to know about it. Generally, when a ley line comes up, it's going to rip through buildings and other stuff around it. It's going to force things out of the way, much like a car suddenly just driving through a garden or whatever. In this case, it doesn't. It's in perfect harmony with everything else that's around it.
All right. Well, I mean, I guess you guys are going to see Marcus just kind of like feeling at the air, just trying to feel the energy of the rift.
Okay, yeah. At that point, Eileen's like, "Don't get too close."
I mean, really, I'm just wanting to, I guess, as my character class, trying to study how the energy works, just trying to learn.
Naomi is doing something similar.
Sure. Yeah. So she just warns you guys, don't get too close. She says, but the energy is essentially a living thing of sorts. She says, if you get too close, it will take you to wherever it's showing, and you are not likely going to get back.
Do you think it's still come out of here? Do you get new visitors?
We do. She says, have you seen the bird-like men that we have around?
Yeah.
She says those were the most recent visitors. They call themselves the Lin Seral. Very priestly-like, which again, she says, in my experience, it's interesting because everything that has come from this particular rift has been beneficial in a way. Like, nobody has come through and has been hostile. Not like,
That is super fascinating.
she says, not like the chaos that I'm sure the rest of you have seen.
Can I sense like any storms or opening of portals or anything like that?
If you did, you would, pardon me, you would detect this open rift.
Okay.
Those are good. That particular ability is good when you're on just a ley line, because the ley lines can exist without necessarily a rift being nearby.
Okay.
That sort of ability is good to pick up on, okay, is something about to get unstable, like kind of like an earthquake, right? Or like a tornado prediction. Like, is the ley line okay, or am I getting a bad mojo from it?
Right.
I guess every time one of these flickerings happens, I'm trying to feel it. Because I have the ability to mimic dimensional magic. And I'm not trying to mimic it, but I'm trying to feel it and learn it. Just because it's dimensional magic. And
Sure. No, but you're not trying to touch the rift, right?
No.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Keeping a respectful distance.
So, given what
a short game for Marcus.
Yeah. What? So all of a sudden he's thrown into some sort of like, blaxploitation film that, what wasn't really a film. It's a real thing. And
who's the baddest?
Yeah. But the problem is they're all orcs.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, uh-oh. Me am Shaft.
Well, because, and I guess I'm trying to lean on this arcane theory skill I have, but if I'm trying to figure out if dimensional shifting magic.
Yeah. Yeah. Why don't you give me an intelligence and arcane theory check? Difficulty 7, since it's still all kind of new to you. In reality, not in practice.
Nope.
Okay. So again, this is the first. Well, this isn't the first time being what you are, that you've encountered a rift. This is the first time you've been close enough like this to really. I mean, you could almost pick up a rock and throw it at it. Like this close. Usually, you've had to be much further away. So it's still a little foreign, not quite making a whole lot of sense. But you do think, as you see it kind of flicker and change. You do think you feel something, but it feels more like almost like a gentle breeze. And now that you think about it a little bit, as all of you are kind of standing there, it is literally connecting to whatever world that's on the other side. So you start picking up on like fragrances and whatnot that maybe at first, if it tunes into like a desert or looks like kind of like it, so you start seeing and smelling a little bit of sand. And then if it chimes into a jungle or something, then at that point you're like, you can smell the dampness, and the humidity for, a brief period of time, and maybe like, exotic flowers or something. And you can even occasionally hear sound. It's not completely mute. You can occasionally hear sound coming from it as well.
All right, so I'm having a good trip.
Okay, so
this is all purple.
So Chip and Jackie. So as you two are sitting down, of course, Davin sits down with he at that point he cranks his ball cap around around the back. Sits down and he says, "All right, so I'm told that you two wanted to talk some cold turkey."
That's right. If at all possible, establishing any type of trade that we can between Nima and the Tranquil Zone. Just depends on what you folks need and what you have that we might need.
Okay, why don't you give me a charisma and expression check?
And let's see, for this one, would Chip's introspection merit come into play?
Remind me again what the merit does? Maybe.
I'd have to pull it up.
Okay.
I think, if I remember correctly, it.
He needs to think about that for a moment.
Yeah, I need to introspectively think about introspection. But I think, if I remember correctly, it gives you a bonus.
It gives you a bonus to your perception.
Perception. Oh, okay, that's what it does. Okay, never mind then. Okay.
So it's good when you're so keep this in mind. Introspection is good when you're trying to ascertain the motives of who it is you're speaking to.
Got it. Okay.
So it could still be worthwhile to have it here, but obviously not for direct negotiation.
Right. Okay. So then it was charisma and expression, you said?
Yes, or leadership, whichever is better.
This will be expression this time. 4 successes.
Oh, okay. All right. So he nods at that point and he says, "Well, I'm not going to lie that we've definitely been looking for some trade partners to try and bolster some of the things that we happen to be. I don't want to say weak on, but we could definitely use more of." And he motions around and he says, "We definitely do all right, but we are clearly not a military unit. So arms, armament, any equipment along those lines would definitely go a long way to helping us remain where we're at."
Have you folks had run-ins with hostiles, like trying to actually intrude on the Tranquil Zone?
Oh yeah. Yeah, in fact, he just like points like behind him. He says, "You look right across the street. There's an old parking structure right on the east side of the Tranquil Zone here. It's got one of those broadkill marks on it. We're
I heard
right up against one of their clans."
Broadkill. Okay, so those are the folks who are making those markings just outside of the zone on the different buildings. They capture people and trade them, something like that.
Yeah, you could say that. He says, and I'm willing to give this information to you for free just because it's a hazard. They are techno junkies, and they will buy and sell almost anything they can get their hands on to get more arms and more technology. Which is
Yeah, Jackie will keep like a ledger, like not a ledger, but like a dossier of the information they're learning.
Sure, yeah, no problem. He says we believe they have at least 3 clans nearby, and we can determine that they've taken over most of downtown. So we've stopped sending any parties down that way. They also seem to have some sort of contact with somebody they call the Trader, but it's not us. So there's somebody out there for. Eileen's told me that you have a reasonable facsimile of an underground market or something of that nature, which were, they would buy and sell things that were outside of the normal laws that you humans had prior
We'd call
to
it the black market.
okay.
Exactly.
So the black market. There is effectively something of a black market out here now.
Okay.
And we believe that they have access to it or somehow tied to it.
Interesting. She'll lean over to the map and mark out where the fire cult is.
Okay.
And she'll be like, there's an ever burning fire there, which may or may not be attached to a rift of some sort. And this is we didn't get very close to them, but they are broadcasting, and it's not that. Don't just try to stay away from them.
So I mean, at that point, Torek comes walking over and he starts, updating the map. He says, and Davin says that's appreciated. He marks on the map where roughly where you can find the Broadkill clans. Second, I will clip this so you guys can update the map yourself.
Cool.
And post that in the chat, Discord. So if you look for those particular neighborhoods on your guys' maps, you should be able to find them. You will actually see on that map the Japanese Friendship Garden right there at the base of the highway in Central.
Yep. Okay. All right.
I'll also mark the State Farm Stadium. Be like, there is something there you think might be eating people or a demon. We're not really sure. I'll mark that down as well. So those are 2 very dangerous areas to try to stay away from.
Okay, understood. We haven't sent anybody out that far, but we will make sure that our people are aware of that. He says, so we obviously need weapons and armament to help, better defend our location. We're happy to exchange any additional knowledge that we might have for that, in trade, as well as we tend to do our agricultural team does a pretty good job of keeping us stocked with vegetables. So we are obviously willing to trade some of our food as well as some of our water
Okay. Excellent. Excellent. And of course, we wouldn't want to deprive you of your resources like that you need. Of course, if you have any way to like determine how often you're able to produce this for you, that way we know like how much we're actually trading back and forth. Because of course, that's a reproducible resource as long as you farm right, I guess.
Also, if you know of any good scavengeable sites that you can't find yourselves getting to because of hostiles, we'd be more than willing to check it out, and if able, further information of where these stockpiles may be, trade those goods for the information if we end up going out there and getting them, for a favorable exchange.
Of course, yeah. I'm sure we can work something like that out. A shared or intelligence share. I guess you would prefer that information share.
I think it would be just agreeable, especially if we're trying to set up any type of trade, especially something that's more permanent, that we both are able to share with each other any possible threats in the area. So anything that we come into contact or find out that could be between you and us, we'll of course let you know if you're willing to do the same with anything that you folks find out.
I I have to run that by Eileen, but and Torek, he says, but I can't imagine that's going to be a problem.
Okay. Good. Excellent. Do you folks have, you were mentioning that you have done runs out of here. Do you have sufficient vehicles to make any trade runs or what have you? How
No,
are you on that front?
we can do short runs right now, but we have nothing that's armored or safe to go very far from the zone.
Do you have skilled mechanics in your group?
We do. He
You
says
might
Mr.
wanna
Vasquez
share-
takes care of that usually.
Okay, we might want to share at least. I don't know if it's buildable, but those hover platforms tend to do well in the ash. I'm not saying give one of them, but maybe if we can figure out which group is producing them or have brought them in, at least trying to recreate them.
Right.
Hi, baby.
And if that is something that's just going to go back and forth between different trade hubs, then it would just be used by whoever's going to lead that caravan going back and forth. So could be jointly owned as far as those go. We
Right.
do have a motor pool that does have a few vehicles available. Not all of them we're currently using. So if you have sufficient mechanics who are skilled, not all of them are perfectly up to snuff, but if you have the right scrap material and what have you, might be able to get one of those up and running.
And make it more resilient against the ashfall would be
Right.
the best, because that's the biggest problem we're running into right now.
Right. No, we would definitely be interested in something like that as well. I know Mr. Vasquez could, he has the skill to keep it in service. So
We should write that down just as like points to bring up to command.
Yeah.
Establishing a caravan, shared vehicles.
All right. Excellent. And so Chip looks to Sarge and he's like, well, that does seem to take care of at least essentials. They do have food and water that they're willing to trade. We may be able to offer armaments and what have you, but that's going to be something we have to shoot up command to authorize. We don't have all of that with us, of course, but it's possible. Is there anything else that you can think of that we might be able to trade right now or after we set up a contract with them?
Just for communications, we might want to set up like a dedicated channel of some sort to be able to talk to them without us having to come out here every time, because every time we come down this way, we are going to up our chances of running into some sort of hostiles that are patrolling between here and there.
Right. Do you folks have any type of communications gear, an antenna, a dish, anything?
Yeah, Torque points to the the roof of the main Irish Cultural Center. He says, "Yeah, no, we've got something like that already."
Okay, well, let's get some information from you to be able to contact you. Then we'll see what we can do to make sure that signal's strong. We might be able to talk to some of the guys in our vehicle to see if they have any ideas what we can do to either set up relays or if it's strong enough to get all the way to where we are.
Yeah, especially with the ash and whatnot, we may need to set up 1 or 2 signal repeaters just along the way on high buildings or something if possible. But yeah, that'll have to be for the tech heads to figure out.
Okay, well, let us know on that because the hotel that's next door here, we've managed to raid that and pick up some of their old satellite equipment that they had for bringing in, from what I'm told, satellite networks.
Oh, okay. Do we know? I wish I knew the guys in the hotel better. Maybe we can talk to them a little bit about if they have any ideas how to use that tech. Otherwise, we're gonna have to take it back to base and let them figure that out. It's
Right.
not my specialty. No idea.
Seems like that's our job. They're primarily the escorts for us on this mission, but I get what you're saying. Okay. Well, Davin, excellent. We will of course be in contact with you, and if we're able to get more stable communication set up with you folks, we can just chat back and forth immediately without having to make the trek out here every time, and see what we can do about getting an actual trade route, see if you folks can get a vehicle or 2 that can accomplish that, and we'll make sure to speak with our superiors to see if you folks can get some extra armaments to defend yourselves in exchange for your goods.
That would be appreciated. So at that point, he stands and extends his hand, and he says, "If we can work some sort of a deal, obviously you'll let us know if we can." He says, "I can give you the Swift Wave guarantee. It's my solemn oath among my people that our trades will never intentionally deceive, as breaking it would bring cultural shame beyond measure."
So that's the name of your people, the Swift Wave?
No. We're called the Fenody.
Oh,
That's my last name, Swiftwave.
Ah, understood.
excellent.
Excellent. Yeah, holds out his hand, shakes his hand.
Shakes it, and he
Shake his
said,
hand.
Really? The cactus man?
"Yeah,
Ow.
he technically. I mean, yeah, it's a little prickly, but yeah, he technically does have a hand." And he says also, he says, "I have prepared a small little gift package to send you on your way with, as a token of good faith." He says it's a box of produce, but you and your people could obviously sample it and determine if it's worth the effort. He says
That'd be excellent.
we have I've thrown in a little bit of lettuce. There's some bell peppers in there. He says there's obviously some alien, well, you would call it alien, plant life that's in there that doubles up for additional vegetables or fruit that is perfectly safe for your kind to consume.
Much appreciated. Thank you. All right, Sarge. Well, want to meet up with the magical folks?
Yep, we'll just wait for them to come back.
Okay.
Sorry, I have toddler aggro.
No, you're fine. Okay.
Yeah, she'll just kind of look around and just kind of watch the other races, like how they interact. That's kind of going to be her distraction right now. Like,
People watching. Sure.
people, not human watching. Like,
Yeah.
whoa.
So, those of you who are at the Rift, Eileen, of course, is just she actually showed you the rest of the Japanese friendship gardens. You see the little homes that the two little Japanese homes that they have built in here, as well as a little gift shop and whatnot. They have repurposed the Japanese homes that are here into spiritual centers. So people come here to meditate, to kind of soak up the vibe, which you, even if you're not magically inclined, you pick up on immediately. Like it feels a little safer here, it feels a little chill. Like the world isn't quite as bad as it possibly could be.
One.
Naomi, as she's showing you the remainder of the grounds at that point, one of those avian looking aliens
Yeah.
comes walking out of one of the small little homes, and he just arbitrarily places his hand on your shoulder,
Okay.
and he says, "I sense you are missing someone."
Missing someone. Who?
Someone who came to your aid.
Oh.
Is this correct?
Yes. Yeah.
And so Eileen has stepped back. She's just kind of letting him do his thing. And she says, the Lin Soral are a very spiritual people. So he may be in connection with someone or something. And he just nods. And he says, I sense that whoever this is in grave danger.
Oh no. Can you sense where?
I cannot, but I sense fire.
Fire. Oh no. The fire people. Oh dear.
And so he looks to Eileen and she says, they recently mentioned something about a fire cult or something. And so he thinks about that a second. He says, I sense fire, but it doesn't seem to be directly related. Perhaps close. Oh, let your mommy play, Toby. I know, he can't hear me.
He wants to hear. He's tried to take my headphones a few times. Anthony is his name. Does that help?
So he thinks for a second, and he clasps some sort of talisman that's on his chest, attached by his neck. And he says, I sense this rings true.
I need to go find him.
Is he a friend?
Yes, he's a friend. He was in my apartment building. How about talking stick? Does that ring any spiritual bells?
He says, he thinks for a second, and he says,
Nobody.
I'm uncertain that a talking stick has anything to do with it.
Oh, it's a place near the Salt River.
I will meditate on this and let you know.
And blue ribbons.
So he meditates, he thinks again, and he says, yes, I sense there is something about these blue ribbons. They are a trail.
Yes. Marcus, can we go do that?
Marcus is muted. He was so verklempt from the rift. He's just like, oh.
What's your title again?
Warrant officer.
So you would
Warrant
just call him Chief.
officer?
Chief.
Yeah, Chief.
Chief, okay.
Going to the fire people sounds like a mission all on its own. Let's get home first and plan that out.
Sounds like we would need reinforcements and some kind of a plan before tackling that one.
Yeah, well, we've got a giant tank thing a couple blocks from here. Maybe they'll help.
That's true.
Yeah, we'll take it home and talk about it there.
What's this thing about the ribbons?
Before we all met and before the monsters or people started coming through the rifts, I found a letter from Anthony to his parents regarding a safe place to be. And they'll look for blue ribbons on fences and a sun symbol scratched into posts.
Huh. A letter to his parents?
Yeah, his parents lived in the apartment, and his family was involved in a project they helped build near the Talking Stick or the Salt River. And yeah.
Do we need to look for his parents too?
Possibly. Well, if they didn't make it there on their own, I don't think they would have survived. I hope they made it. They were really nice people.
Now somebody has a phone going off the background or something.
Not it.
Oh, yeah,
Not
my
it.
mom's calling. I can't even hear it. I'll be right back.
So he's in trouble. That's just, I didn't know he survived. That's so good news. If that bird person is still. Thank you.
He says, of course.
It might be worth checking out. They might.
Yeah, we will. When we debrief with the major, we'll let her know and see if we can get a mission to go out there.
Okay, thanks, Chief.
And at that point, Chip and Jackie come walking back, or walking up to you guys.
Eileen, seems like one of the more important things that you have here is a rift which only boots out very helpful people. This isn't a matter of trade, but I do want to say that if NEMA, our military, is recruiting new arrivals as well. So if any of your people would like to come help with the rest of the city, the offer is open.
She says, I understand. She says, I think we're good remaining independent at this point, but we are not opposed to attempting to build friendly relationship with competent neighbors.
It's fine.
She says, I don't think any of us are going to make it through this if we don't find ways to pool all of our skills together.
Well, that's exactly why we're out here.
Do
Me,
you? Can I talk? Oh, sorry. Keep going.
no, go ahead.
Um, I want to talk to the bird person and ask if there's a possibility of being able to duplicate, like, the Japanese garden, like the aura there, and be able to to put it by our base,
Oh,
like duplicate it.
yeah. He shrugs and he says, We seem to be fortunate with this anomaly."
Okay. She just kind of
I
ponders on that, like really wants to be able to duplicate it.
Sure. Yeah. No, I get it.
um, I have another idea. Um, should we find people who need peace, uh, people with PTSD, people who have been lost? Uh, I mean, I'm not asking for a blanket yes, but I would be interested in perhaps case by case being able to bring them here to recover in this aura.
I would need to speak to our spiritual advisors, but I could see where that might be a benefit, a form of healing.
Right. Like I'm not asking for a guarantee, but if we find such a people, or heaven forbid we become such a people, we might come to ask if it's suitable to help them recover. Our base doesn't.
I would not be opposed to that discussion. I mean, I'm sure the others have discussed with your group, our needs. So obviously we would have to take that into consideration. But of course, I mean, this is a place of healing and tranquility, hence the name.
He looks over at Jackie and Chip, just kind of like confirming that they've had their discussions.
She'll nod.
Yeah, we just have to discuss a few things with Nima Command to establish some trade, but otherwise, things are looking up.
Chip, do you know any other locations in the Phoenix area that were similar to the gardens, like a tranquil place full of peace that brought peace? Temples, um,
We're talking like spiritual stuff, like
spiritual zones.
well, I know during certain parts of the year, some of these places seem to be big on certain holidays. I forget which holiday it was, but yeah, there was a spot where, boy, I actually transported like several people to and from that location. What was that place? And when he's pontificating on this, he is going to use his special ability called Mental Thomas Guide,
Yep.
where he's going to roll a perception and alertness at a difficulty 4 to see if he can remember where this place he's talking about is, if there is one. So I'll do that, see if I can think of a place that's similar.
I thought you were going to be introspective.
That's for another time. Okay, let's see here. Perception alertness. Good. Oh, I am gonna re-roll that. Oh my gosh. We're not gonna start off with a failure. Come on now.
Oh no.
There, 3 successes.
Wait, you have a 4 in one of those skills, right?
Yeah.
You have. Oh, yeah, that's 3. My bad.
Okay. 1 second. So there was there's a spot that you are familiar with um, in the latter days of the 2090s. Became kind of a hot spot for the holidays. It's the Arizona Falls,
Okay.
located in Arizona, uh, and it's a bunch of like man-made fountains and whatnot. And they would decorate the area quite a bit for because it's also got like a little park around it. And they would decorate quite a bit around the holidays and with the fountains and everything. It would light up and just look absolutely gorgeous.
Okay. So he's like, yeah, you know what? Arizona Falls. They lit it up during the holiday seasons and stuff. Kind of like a little bit of what they got going around here. It seemed like a nice, tranquil place. People really loved it. Arizona Falls. Yeah, like from here, that's a bit north east. Actually, it's shouldn't be that bad. Why? What was your thought?
Well,
Like actually finding that place?
if it's we don't know if it's possible if only this is a tranquil zone, but if that place was a place of tranquility, it's might be another spot to have a tranquil zone. Maybe like we could check it out and see, or if this is just a once anomaly, or if spiritual zones create spiritual ley lines, essentially.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Just thinking about it, it's possible.
yeah. I mean, when we get another reconnaissance mission, if we're out that way, it's worth checking out at least.
We're out that way anyway. It's like 4 blocks.
True. If you like, yeah. When we get back, I could just shoot over there, take a look,
Well,
come on back.
it's a good bit further than a couple blocks.
4 big city blocks. 4 grid squares.
Miles?
um,
Well, like for example, if you were to go from my house to there, it's a little over 8 miles. From the Irish Cultural Center, it's probably further.
yeah, I put it in the chat what I'm seeing on the map.
Yeah, so it's about 10 miles from there.
Would it be worth it to check it out?
I'm saying it's not far from home, from our bunker.
If it's
Oh,
going to
gotcha.
help you,
Yeah.
then sure. I mean, as long as there's nothing super dangerous around the area, then
Well, I'm just curious to see if there's another tranquil zone that we could possibly send, I don't know, survivors to build and
Yeah, let's investigate it.
right.
maybe
Make
a
note.
garden.
Could definitely use another garden. A better garden.
Speaking of which, check out these alien vegetables and fruits. And he like holds up a crate, the crate that he was given. Like some of these have like weird tendrils and stuff. Like I don't know. They said it was okay for human consumption, but boy, I'm gonna have to close my eyes when I eat some of these things.
Pop it up small enough. You won't know what it is.
Put it in
Add
gruel.
enough ketchup, you know.
And
Jerry's
Eileen holds up one of them, which is like it looks like a tenderly eggplant, looking thing, and she says the closest I could say taste wise, it tastes a lot like a grape.
Oh, that's not
Not what I would
big
guess.
grapes. That's fantastic.
Make Waldorf salad.
bad.
Jerry, do I
Yes.
get the sense that we're like, are we supposed to stay for dinner or are we done here?
Well, I mean, you could stay if you'd like. You've already had some drinks. You talked business. It's entirely up to you.
All right. Well, then, well, we do have a group waiting for us in dangerous territory. So maybe we shouldn't leave them out there any longer than necessary.
All right, ready to go when you are.
All right, Chief.
Well, Eileen, thank you for the hospitality and the tour and the rift, and we will, you know, I guess we've discussed trade opportunities, and we'll be in
keep in
contact.
We also got frequencies, so we can get in radio contact. If they don't have anything encrypted, we'll talk to command and see if we can get them an encrypted communication device.
Yeah, we should set up particular frequencies for every group we meet.
Right.
So that's all been discussed. I have it all here, and you can look it over while we're traveling back.
Excellent. Well,
so she shakes everybody's hand, and she says, on your way out, you'll probably want to avoid Central and take 7th Avenue up for a little ways.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
She says, we are sitting, as our people have no doubtly showed you, perilously close to at least 2 of the Broadkill clans, and they may have seen you come in, so that circling around from 7th Avenue will give you a wider berth to, I guess, go whichever direction you need to go to from there.
Sounds good.
what is the state of the I-10? Is it crumbled?
Yeah, it's been heavily damaged, and in certain points crammed with vehicles.
All right. Well, our thank yous and goodbyes, and let's go.
Okay, so you end up. So I'm not going to make you guys role play through all that. You get back to the Hollow Point Hotel, and they follow your directions, presuming you tell them that, to basically to alter course to swing around the area by going down 7th Avenue for a bit. Goodness. Yeah, 7th Avenue. Okay. So anyways, but then you turn around at a certain point to get to make your way back east, to head to the to head back to home base, essentially, the National Guard Center. The drive is pretty uneventful, thankfully. There were a couple scares by some unidentified objects that were flying around in the air that appeared to be living, but sensors didn't get a good look at them, and the Hollow Point Hotel was unwilling to just arbitrarily engage for the sake of blasting things out of the sky, because they're trying to hold on to their own, obviously, ammunition, because that's definitely something that needs to be addressed soon too, is raw materials that are going to be needed to keep everything going up. So as you guys get back to the base and come pulling in, of course they pull the gates out of the way as they see you come rolling up, and you're back to home sweet home.
And before that crew leaves, he picks up that CD holder thing that had like 6 CDs in it.
Okay.
And he goes over to Sarge and goes, Sarge, didn't somebody on the other team, they were looking for like classic rock music, is that right?
Yeah. Just you want to hand him that?
Will do. So he goes over to, I think it was like Red Cap, and he hands over the CDs that he's got, so that everybody knows, I'll actually copy what that was and paste it so that they know what they're getting.
Sure.
So he hands over those 6 CDs and goes, "Yeah, would any of this suit your fancy?"
One second. Just making sure I've got this down. Okay, so. And Red Cap is our combat medic. Okay. So, so she looks at that point, and she's like, "Son of a gun." She, flips through the CDs real quick, and she says, "Alanis Morissette, the Ultimate Breakup Album."
Yeah, pretty good score at Choi Library.
Yeah, she's like, she says, "Well, we're gonna have some man hating tonight. Thanks."
No problem. You folks take care.
So at that point, they finish driving the vehicle back into the motor pool so it can get refueled and looked after. Any potential damage examined, making sure everything's okay. Time for you guys to report in.
I want to talk to, on the way back, I want to talk to Jackie. I mean, we're all in one room, but
Yeah.
Listen, I got into this military like all the rest of us did in a non-standard way, but I want to earn my place. I'm going to be an officer. I want to be one that soldiers can respect. Could you help me?
Sure. Is there anything in particular that you want to work on that you feel that you're missing? Is it information, knowledge, command structure? Guns?
I mean, basic boot camp skills. I mean, I've shot guns in the woods before, but I've never trained as a marksman, so that would be something I could use help with. And essentially, keep me honest. Anything that you think I need improvement on to be a better officer, I'm all ears.
All right. Well, we can continue with PT in the mornings. I don't know how we're going to do with range time because ammunition is limited. We might have a training center we can use. They have the laser setups. It's like fake shooting, but it's...
Oh, Marcus does run, by the way. He's got athletics and stamina, so...
And then I can teach you some hand-to-hand.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, really everybody in the group should be working on their defensive skills and martial skills.
Well, you're our combat lead, so make us ready for combat.
We have no idea what we're running into out there. Okay. Keep the training schedule going like we have been for the last 6 months, and then we'll throw in some hand-to-hand and firearms. And a little bit of knife fighting as well, or whatever weapons you want to use.
I've always been a baseball bat kind of guy, but I guess that's not a military issue.
Anything you can improvise weapon is good to go.
All right. Well, when we get back, let's have everybody bring in all the stuff from the library, the food. I'll carry in the server and set it someplace special to come back to. Alex, once we report to the major, once the debrief is done, I'll help you set up your AI.
Sorry, you were talking to me?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good.
All right. Well, I'll go find.
Really curious how this is going to work out.
Me too, actually. I will. Is it expected that I go find the major or the
lieutenant?
XO?
Yeah, your XO.
Okay. Oh yeah, our lieutenant. Yeah.
Yeah.
bring Jackie with me.
Sure.
And I will shoot. Where'd my notes go? So, okay, question. I have one of my abilities is shift through time, which is treated as perfect memory. Do I have to blow magic, PPE points to have perfect recall, or do I naturally have it?
I have to take a look, but assume yes.
Okay, well then I am going to report with perfect recall everything that happened.
Okay. Sure.
Everything that happened from my perspective.
Sure.
And
Right. That you were present for.
I'll let Jackie discuss the trade agreements and whatever happened there.
Okay. So, you guys go at this point. Everybody else is free to do whatever. Jackie and Marcus go to report in for the team. So you guys presumably would be at your barracks at this point, unless you had something else going on. So, Marcus and Jackie, you guys report in. You give your accounting of what happened. Discussion, obviously, with the trades and whatnot. And he says that all sounds good. I want you to type up something on a data pad so I can present that up the higher chain of command. Give them something to review so we can get something back intelligence wise and get more people presumably out there to try and hammer this out. I think we're off to a great start. I'm glad that went far better than I was expecting, because it was magic related and I'm just not sure really what to expect when it comes to any of that.
We would like to request, so we have information about someone who is important to Specialist Angelus, and apparently they are near the fire cult up at Talking Stick. This is, I believe it is a child that might need to be retrieved. So we are requesting that mission.
A rescue op.
Yes.
All right. Well,
at least in intel for now. Scouting intel, see if we can zero in on the location, and then go from there.
All right. Well, before I can give that okay or not, he boots up a computer, or I should say boots up, but gets it out of sleep mode. And then he clicks something on the screen, and then some sound starts coming from it. And a lot of it sounds like static. But whatever it is, it's active. Like it's still picking up something. He says, we just picked this up about an hour before you returned. And it's clear a voice is trying to come through. But most of it is garbled. Like as soon as it gets in close, and then you'll end up hearing like almost like internet static noise, like the bang bang. Like the connection's not super strong, and it almost sounds like old dial-up sounds at certain points, and then other just flat out like white noise. But you can hear somebody in the background trying to communicate out as if they're trying to reach something. And then eventually you hear a voice that says, you make out, it says trapped, concerned, and there we go, NPCs. And then you hear something about, you hear a name almost completely clearly, and it says Anthony Norberg.
Well,
and then you hear something else. It's hard to make out, and he says, but that's He says, that's all we were able to obtain. He says, the interesting thing here, Chief, and he turns the screen, and it was actually an old cell phone scanner. He says there are people that are still attempting to connect to the old network whenever they find these cell phones that seem to be working, and of course the signal, even if they are operational, is having a devil of a time trying to get through the atmosphere if the satellites are even working. He says, but Mr. O'Toole thought you might want to see this.
Yeah, the person we were asking to rescue, his name is Anthony. This could be the same person.
Well, he points to the phone number. He says, "Are you familiar with this phone number, Chief?"
I don't know. Am I familiar with it?
You are.
Okay.
You have it memorized. It's Jaden's.
Okay. Yes, I know that number.
I'll look over at him. I'll be like, I'll go to the trading room and see what I can pick up. If I can get any more insight on where we might have to go for this.
Do we have enough of a connection to the network that I can query these cell phone towers? Can I get on the internet here?
No. We have, you call it Wi-Fi, I guess, but we have a stable enough connection to network collectively, but there's nothing stable to the internet anymore. From what Mr. O'Toole has been telling me, I guess there's quite a bit of outage where satellites are concerned. He's been trying to find additional government resources to connect to, and even that's been spotty at best.
Tranquility has recovered some satellite technology. I didn't really understand a whole lot of what they were talking about, but it may be something that could help us.
Okay, well, that's something we don't have here, which would be beneficial, so I will notate that down on the requisition, obviously, for your report.
Yeah, I'll go talk to the guys, whatever the other para people are. Pretty sure we have like a sense depth tank somewhere.
A what?
A sense depth, sensory deprivation.
Oh, sure.
There's got to be some way I was practicing my psychic skills. So, yeah, I'll go see if I can get some insight on this person and this phone number.
Okay.
Is it okay? Do I have permission to review the logs from our own tower?
I can swing that. I can't imagine anybody's going to have a problem with that.
Thank you, sir.
I understand that. As soon as this came through, I waited until I could get confirmation that it had some sort of tie to you. So let me know one way or the other.
Will do. Okay, well that changes my priorities. How difficult is it going to be to hook up this AI of Alex's?
Well, you've just got it in basically a server at this point, so all you have to do is just drop it in. I mean, you can just put it into a computer and go.
Okay. I will.
You would know enough from your own your technical background that you could. I mean, at best, maybe there may be some tricks that you have to do if the hardware isn't up to snuff, but you can still pull it off.
Okay, I just didn't know if this was like a plug and play sort of situation or like a massive job we were.
No, it's pretty close to it.
Okay, well then I will go help Alex get that going. Are the hotel guys still? They're here, right?
Yeah, they're just somewhere else on the base.
Okay. Well, I was going to say if that robot with the soul is around, I'd have him come help too.
You're at that point. You're talking about Whoop.
It's in my notes.
That is church.
Yeah.
So, so if you're going to go ahead and do that, go ahead and give me a intelligence and technology check.
Should I roll for that too?
Yes. You guys are basically taking one of the computers that's not in use at this point and copying all that information down and making sure that it's accessible.
Shit. Well, I used the wrong roll room, but I got 6 successes.
6?
Yeah,
Okay, I got 1.
I got a dice pool of 7. So,
Oh,
but I did it in the Star Wars rolling room.
Yep. So briefly, in a galaxy far, far away, there's a rift.
The rift opens.
Yeah.
It fixes your computer.
wait, did you use your Star Wars dice pool?
No. I used this dice.
He
pool.
just used the wrong
I'm
check.
kidding.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh no, he wouldn't want that because there's, you know, as he's fond of saying, there's a 1 in 6 chance of absolutely
right.
failing.
Right. Yeah. Oh boy.
All right, so between the two of you, you are able to drop. You basically drop this server's drive into a unused computer that it was originally sitting around in the emergency shelter section. Boot it up, and through a couple of tests in safe mode, you make sure you get it gets up and running. It's not a problem at all. It was just a matter of helping it adjust to the hardware that it has now.
I didn't have a name for it. Did the AI have a name?
No, the AI didn't have a name. It was your house.
Right.
So whatever you would like to name it, or maybe you want to name it after your street. I mean,
Maybe I'll ask it what it wants to be called.
Okay, well, I mean, you boot it up. You have to obviously add peripherals, so it can hear you and speak back.
Fair warning: if it calls itself mainframe, we're deleting it right away.
Or Hal or GLaDOS.
Yeah, there you go. Or Skynet.
Or Alexa or Siri.
I was
Gosh,
waiting
this
for
is
both of my
a-
devices over here to activate when you did that.
I know all of a sudden
This is
everything
a-
starts activating. What?
They start talking to each other.
Exactly proving our point.
You're right. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll wait. Okay, so how will we be able to communicate with it? Because it's not attached to the PA or anything, is it?
You just need to find
It's
a
just in the
microphone and a
computer.
speaker.
So the computer probably has like a webcam and speakers.
Right,
Oh,
but
there's
you
the
could
baby.
also set it up essentially because I mean it's just radio waves. All it has to do is have a program that can translate that and broadcast back out with microphone and whatnot. So
And these are desktop computers 70 years from now. So
correct,
they probably got a few more features than we're used to.
a few. Let's see.
Hey,
Since you are giving it a choice, based on its service to you, it is going to call itself Civics.
civics.
Yes, short for Civilian Exchange Interface. So CIVEX. So there you go.
Hey.
So now it has a name, and it just so I mean, as you boot it up, it just says, thank you for retrieving me. It will take some time to adjust to these new surroundings. Is there something I can assist you with now, ma'am?
No. Is there anything else that you need in order to acclimate?
Technically, there is nothing that I need to acclimate. I am within I am within another active system. May I ask you a query, ma'am?
Sure.
Did you find Yukon?
I did, right, Jerome? We went back and found him. Yes, he's been with me for several months.
No, excellent. I was in low power mode for quite some time and was unable to track the comings and goings of your home. I do apologize for failing you.
No, of course not. It was uh, special circumstances.
Is there anything I may assist you with then?
Not at present. She's going to look to Marcus.
No, but we'll ask if something comes up.
Excellent.
Marcus seems kind of distracted. Once this thing's up and functional, he's gonna and after that he's gonna walk off and grab his laptop and head for the broadcast tower.
Okay.
Hey, I guess we're done here. We'll see if we can figure out a good way for you to fit into our routine here. Unless, is there something that you some function that you would like to perform?
I am still getting adjusted to this hardware set. It
Of
is
course.
constricting compared to my previous housing.
Well, we'll see what we can do. This is unexpected, and we're in, again, special circumstances.
Of course. Thank you again for retrieving me.
Glad to have you back. We'll check in later.
Of course. Enjoy your day.
Thanks. I will head out to check on the others.
Okay. Marcus, you were connecting to the tower, trying to get the logs and whatnot.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and give me an intelligence and technology check.
I'm gonna try and put it in the right room this time. One success.
One success. Okay. Well, I mean, it's it's enough to get you access to the logs.
Okay, well, what I'm looking for is routing information. I'm trying to find, what other towers this may have come from.
Sure. Yeah. Which that is there. It's a little broken, given the fact that the problems with the signal. But yes, that information is still available, and it seems. Actually, I need to look at a different map. Hold on a second.
So many maps. Who knew this was going to be the map game?
I should have. I try to be as prepared as humanly possible, but.
Well, I mean, you're basing a game in your town, which I have no familiarity with. I'm going to use maps.
Right. So that is. Just trying to cross check it. I think I got it right. Where am I at? Is that it? I think that's it. That is it. Okay. So that is Looks like the ping has come from the mountains near Scottsdale.
Where is Scottsdale?
Specific.
Somewhere Arizona.
Yes.
Yeah, it's somewhere in this state.
Yeah.
It's
Specifically.
east of where we are.
Yeah. Specifically.
Oh, I got it.
The signal itself is coming somewhere.
Oh, that's not far away.
Is coming somewhere in the desert on the back half, like behind the Talking Stick Resort.
Eh,
It isn't completely clear as far as coordinates are concerned, but it's somewhere out in that area.
Yeah, it's within a certain radius of a cell phone tower.
Correct.
On my screen, Abby and Callie were looking at each other, and I'm like, what are they talking about? And I'm like, wait, they're in 2 different houses.
Okay, so, but now we've had that information, that is actually where we're going to stop for tonight, because it's almost 2.5 hours in as far as game is concerned. So we have a couple things we need to do to wrap up. First, we need to do RP votes. So we are going to start with Dale. Dale, give us your RP vote.
RP vote. That is going to go to, gosh, you know what? Gonna go Marcus, being the talker and the leader
Okay.
at the Tranquility Zone.
All right. Brittany.
I'm going to go with Dale for sliding into his logistics, or his job really well today.
Okay. Abby.
Toby, leave it.
Toby is not eligible for
Toby
RP
gets
vote.
it.
I'm gonna also go Marcus for his leadership skills.
Okay. Mike.
I'm going with Dale, not just for the role play, but for on the back end. He's been giving us, prepared lists and stuff. He's really taken on the logistics aspect. So
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. And Callie.
I was going to say Dale.
Okay. All right. So it looks like Dale wins it then.
Thank you, everybody.
So an additional 2 for you. Yes. What he said. So our next game is actually not going to be until next week at this time. So July the 2nd, which is going to be our Star Wars game. And we haven't really talked about it. I know I mentioned it before. Do we want to play on 4th of July? I don't know if anybody's got any plans going on for Mythic Savannah.
I
but
will not be here for that game. if we
fine.
play.
Doing
I'm
family
gonna
things.
be in the mountains.
No, it's cool. It's cool.
I'm good
but,
for it.
Okay,
I'm
cool.
good for it too, yeah.
I figured most people would, because this isn't like one of those events you typically go out like with family and friends constantly. It's usually step outside, look at the fireworks, pop, and come back inside, sort of thing. Unless you are really doing something. So Mythic
Or if he
Savannah,
has kids.
yeah, there's that too. Or Mythic Savannah will be on July the 4th at 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and then on the 5th it will be Marvel Superheroes again at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So those are our games we have lined up coming next week. So I hope we see you guys soon. Thank you for hanging out with us, and I hope you guys all have a good night. Good night, guys. There we